Let's have some fun. Well, with the MCU announcing that they are really going to start ramping up the casting decisions for Fantastic Four, I thought it'd be fun to make a video talking about 10 actors I want to see join the MCU, not necessarily just as the Fantastic Four characters, but in the MCU in general. And I'm just going with actors that I really like and think would be a good fit in the MCU. Not necessarily would be a good fit for certain characters, although I did do a little bit of research just to kind of see what people were saying certain actors should play this role. But if you have ideas, if you're more of a comic reader, because I'm not, if you have ideas about which actor should play which character, go ahead and drop a comment below. I would love to know. So just starting off, I'm going to go with Ana de Armas. I mean, she's one of my favorites in the business today. She is such a great actress, and she also is really good at the action stuff, as we saw in the Bond movie, No Time to Die. So I think she'd be a great fit for the MCU. And the most common suggestion for her is Black Cat, and I don't know much about Black Cat, but based on the limited knowledge I have, I feel like that would be a pretty good fit.
Good idea.
Next, I have Vanessa Kirby. She is one that I feel like is really underrated and one of my favorite up-and-coming actors. I mean, she has shown that she can do the action stuff from Hobbs and Shaw and Mission Impossible Fallout, but is also just a really good actress, so I feel like she'd be a great fit for the MCU. Just doing a little bit of research, what some people have thrown out there for her. Maybe she could be Sue Storm. I mean, I have a lot of potential ideas for Sue Storm. She's one of them. And then another one that I thought was really interesting, just based on the look. It's not a character that I don't know much about this character, but it's Emma Frost, and I think that maybe that could be a good fit. Next, I have Gary Oldman. I mean, Gary Oldman is one of the best actors in the business. He has to do an MCU role at some point, right? And I kind of feel like he should play a villain. I mean, I liked him a lot as Gordon in the Batman movies, but he is just so damn good as a villain. I feel like he could play like Mephisto or Nightmare or something like that. I feel like that would be pretty interesting.
I like these calm little moments before the storm.
Next, I have Glenn Powell, and this is one that I feel very passionate about. I really want Glenn Powell to play Johnny Storm, and that's mainly because of his role in Top Gun Maverick as Hangman, as like this total douchebag, but he's a likable douchebag, which is exactly what Johnny Storm is, plus he's still a young guy. I feel like he would be a perfect fit for that type of character.
Stop.
Next, I have a pretty obvious one who I feel like is definitely going to be in the MCU at some point, Giancarlo Esposito. He is one of the best actors working today, and he has expressed his interest in joining the MCU. He said he kind of wants to play a hero, maybe play Professor X, which I feel like would be really interesting. But he's also so good at playing a villain that he would also make a really good Magneto. So either way it would work. Just get him in the MCU in some capacity.
Where would it even go?
I have another pretty obvious one, and that's Jenna Ortega. She is just one of the best up-and-coming actors, young actors working today, and the MCU is going to scoop her up at some point, right? I mean, I know she was technically in the MCU before. She played the President's daughter in Iron Man 3, but that was just like one scene, and she was a little kid, so there's no way they're not going to cast her again, right? She is just too big right now, and Marvel is too smart to not take advantage of that stardom. There was a rumor that she was going to play White Tiger, which I don't know much about White Tiger, but I feel like seems like a pretty good fit for her. So we'll see if that actually ends up coming to fruition in the Daredevil series. But if not, I'm sure they'll get her for some role in the MCU. They'd be stupid not to.
That was pretty nice.
Next, I have Leslie Grace, who is another person that could potentially play White Tiger if it doesn't end up being Jenna Ortega. But she is someone who got totally screwed over by DC. She filmed the Batgirl movie, and it got scrapped, so nobody got to see it, and that's just really unfortunate, and I feel really bad for her and all the people involved in it, so I feel like Marvel should scoop her up and put her in a role, whether it's White Tiger or something else.
Here we go.
Next, I have another person that was in Batgirl and got totally screwed over, which is Brendan Fraser. I mean, he is such a likable guy and one of my favorite actors, someone who hasn't acted a ton recently, but he was really good in The Whale, even though it was a movie I was not really a fan of. I had some pretty massive issues with it, but he was not the problem. He was phenomenal in the movie, and I really would like him to get his big break, to get in this big franchise like the MCU, especially after getting screwed over like he was in DC. So maybe he could play The Thing. I feel like he'd be a pretty good fit for The Thing, but I'm sure they can find a role for him. I mean, the MCU definitely should grab Brendan Fraser for a role.
George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
Next, I have Adam Driver. Now, he has been heavily rumored to be playing Mr. Fantastic. It is not confirmed yet. I think that's an interesting fit, although I feel like I would rather see him as Doctor Doom because I just like him as a villain so damn much. And I understand actors want to do different things and play heroes like Esposito as well, but Driver just has that creepy, deep voice that I feel like he'd be such a good Doctor Doom. But either way, they've got to get him for something, and I'm sure they will.
Thank you.
And finally, I have Zoe Kravitz. I mean, she is also one of my favorite actors. She was in The Batman and was one of the best parts of the movie. I had some issues with it, but the acting certainly wasn't one of them, especially her. She was phenomenal as Catwoman, and maybe she could play like Storm or something. I feel like that could be a pretty interesting fit. So there are my 10 actors I want to see join the MCU. I have a lot more. I have an ongoing list, so I'm probably going to make several of these videos, but if you guys comment on some of these actors that I mentioned and maybe you have better fits for them character-wise in the MCU, if you are more of a comic reader than myself, please enlighten me, educate me, drop a comment below and say who you think these actors would be good fits for, and maybe who, on the flip side, would be good fits for these specific characters. So just drop a comment and let's start a conversation about that. If you like this video, hit the like button. Likes are so important for growing my channel and pushing my videos out to more people. And if you enjoy my content in general, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified when I post a video. And stay tuned. I got a lot more stuff coming. I'll see you soon.